Well, I would just humbly submit that nothing you said there conflicts with any CJC. I would just humbly submit that.
Maybe CJC was kind of on the right track.
I would just humbly submit that. And I would humbly submit that up until whenever the last book of the Bible was written, they were also very, very familiar with what was going on in the East. Mm-hmm. And so that's just all I want to say there. And
well, it's a
if
very
you want
good
to talk
point.
about the most famous NDE, it would probably be an ADE, actual death experience. Right.
Well, I would submit that we've all had ADEs.
So all I can say is,
many of them.
They didn't have videotapes, and they didn't have. It was just what got written down, mm-hmm. and so that's just what it is. But I don't think I'm listening very intently to you, but I don't hear anything different. In other words, people were having NDEs prior to 100 AD. Mm-hmm. All the time. They were having dreams. They were having all these things.
Right.
And that all gets into culture and creates various ways of looking at the world, and it bubbles up into what it is. But I don't think it stopped. I don't think CJC stopped at 100 AD.
No.
I think it's very different now than it was in 1800.
I would like to think it's alive and vibrant right here in the now.
Yeah,
in fact, I would say that's what we're really talking about, because when you have all this discussion that we've had today, really at the end of the day, the question is, okay, well, how does that influence religious and scientific thought moving forward? How is it that we'll think about these things in 10 and 20 years? And that's where I think we're actually going to make tremendous progress. I think we're already making progress. In fact, when I compare our position now to 10 years ago, now, of course, I have to be careful not to just think about my position, because my position's obviously changed a lot. But I think the world at large has come a long way towards this awakening. I think the ravages and the destruction of rampant scientific materialism are receding. They are going to disappear around the edges as humanity awakens to all of this that we're talking about. But it's interesting that you point out the kind of alignment with Judeo-Christian and Greek thought over the last few millennia, because on the one hand, I think, well, maybe they were actually getting close towards something that we can start calling some truth. Not that the East has not contributed tremendously to that. And I think especially when you look at modern consciousness studies and the neuroscience of consciousness, and philosophy of mind, what you find is that a lot of that is evolving tremendously, even now. But there's some notions in Hinduism and Buddhism of oneness and connectedness, and that I think
are very valuable.
Incredibly valuable.
I agree.
I mean, just astonishingly prescient and together.